Hi there, I'm Fredy Samuel Lundh, aka FredyClue, and I, together with my team, has created Swedish first non-binary folk costume.
This is Fredy Samuel Lundh, aka FredyClue, who is a folk musician playing the Swedish instrument nyckelharpa. They're also the genius behind this non-binary folk costume, Bäckadräkten. In this video, they're going to talk about their identity, this costume, and what role that plays in Swedish folk tradition.
This idea, I said it to my friends back in 2018, and they said, yeah, go for it. And I have just focused my dreams on that since then. After 2 years, I got in contact with the Textile Fashion Museum and a friend called Fredy Andersson, well, she wasn't my friend before, but now she is. And she helped me elevate this project. The full museum just started being a part of it. And from her, I also got in contact with Ida Björs, a textile designer, an illustrator, artist. So she became designer of this and sewing everything.
So the project was up and running, and that's when things started moving within Fredy Samuel as well.
Everything started to get into place in the project, and things started moving in myself as well. I started testing out dresses and so on, and I felt so good in it, but I didn't know why. All my life I've always been drawn to a queer community and pride festivals, and I always loved the colors and everything, but I didn't know why until a bit later on in this project, when I'm starting to really get into projects, searching for money, applying for grants and so on. And then I was on this West Pride, and yeah, it was the fall, last year because of the pandemic. And I was on this panel talk. There was a bunch of trans people, wonderful people, talking about their own experiences. So it was a talk with and by trans people. When they just introduced themselves, something in me got so flashed up or involved with their saying of pronouns and so on. I didn't have the vocabulary, but I did have the feeling. So the feeling said, this is something maybe for me. And afterwards I was so sad and happy at the same time. So frustrated is the right word. Because one have said, I'm called this, I use all pronouns. And my body was like, what? Can you do that? And so afterwards I sat down with all my feelings, frustration, and I just wrote to myself, I'm a non-binary. As the feeling got calm in my body, I called my mom, and I also felt so much joy and freedom. So this was through West Pride and this talk, I also got to know myself. And in this project now, everything made sense suddenly. I had this idea. My body has been speaking through ideas, kind of. And that's why I want to do this project, to shine light upon trans awareness and the non-binary community, you could say. Because folk music is so binary.
Let's dive into the traditions of Swedish folk culture.
Folk music is so binary. We have the folk dance, we have the follower and the leader. And we have the male and female costumes, and that's the only thing there is. It's just 1 and 2, 2 and 1. But us non-binary people and trans people in general that don't fit into this, They don't have a place like in the tradition, in the history. But we do exist. And the culture is made by us people, and we have always developed our costumes, our ways of speaking and making music. So why not do it now as well? Why not continue to develop the tradition we're in? I would say I'm doing this as a form of language. This is my niche that I'm trying to take my ideas into or work through. But I'm also working with these values.
What are their hopes and dreams for Bäckadräkten?
So with Bäckadräkten, my hopes are to create a room for this non-binary community or trans community in a such binary world. Whoever that wants to fit into this or don't fit into the other community, please join us in this Bäckadräkten adventure. And that's really my hopes, that we can just continue working with this room and this community, and also inform other people that don't know about this community. I'm just getting out there to whoever asking and to this community and just saying we exist. And that's so important, because when they do realize that this exists, then they can start learning and start implementing all the pronouns that exist and all the language. It's so much to learn. And sometimes it's just a matter of course, openness or lack of openness and respect. Or sometimes it's just fear because this is something else that they didn't know about. So yeah, just elevating this room and shining light upon this and positive trans awareness, because it's freedom. It's freedom for me. Hopefully for a lot of other people as well.
And Fredy Samuel and their team already has a lot of ideas of how to take Bäckadräkten further.
The project is going to be kept alive through all these values, and we're going to discuss style and identity beyond the binary, not just in the folk community. This is just a very binary structure to work from. But I want to reflect this issue upon the society and open up the norms and really create a room for anyone to step into. And regarding the folk costume, if people want to create their own, we are going to work for a sewing pattern to follow. This is a part of like the 2.0 project, to develop this to more people, more bodies than just mine.
But they want to point out that you do not have to follow the exact pattern to be a part of this community.
I'm playing with the tradition, and I am encouraging everyone to do the same as well. So with this sewing pattern you can add yourself into this project, because we are our own people and we express ourselves through style and identity. And this is a chance to use it through folklore or folk tradition. So that's my hopes, that we can create our own dreams, create our own style, and yeah, develop our norms in society.
This is where I would usually end the video, but I want to invite those of you who are interested in the details of the costume and the pieces it's combined of to stay an extra 5 minutes to listen to FredyClue talk about it.
The first thing that I started with as an idea was merging the dress and the pants. The pants are usually of course, there's so many different kinds of folk costumes. So we work with some kind of a compromise with all these 840 folk costumes there is in just Sweden alone. So the pants usually are quite short to the knees, and the dresses are usually longer. So we made a merge, a pant dress. And it's fairly short. It's like the pants actually. Then we have this vest. This vest is a mixture between a vest and a livstycke, it's called. And the vest is usually for men and the livstycke is for women. And the base is this wonderful shirt. It's usually very like airy, as this is fluffy, but I think this is a bit fluffier. We have some decorations on the sleeves, also traditional. That's the base, and then I've been working with just having so much fun with all these tofsar, the little balls. I made a little non-binary trans world in this, or like an earth. And then we also worked with inspiration from the ocean, where my soul came from. I don't know, I sail a lot. So we have the barwood and steelwood here, the red and the green. I also have it on my shoes, the red and the green little balls. And the base, the colors, and the base of the inspiration is from the trans flag. So we have pink, white and blue. I also designed shoes. They look kind of typical fall costume shoes, also dancing shoes. And the heels, it's fairly small and a bit high. The dance heels are usually wider and more danceable. But I feel this is so much fun. It is inspired by wedding shoe from Järvsö, where the heel is even further in the middle of the foot, making it impossible to walk. And then we have the hat. I will make a bunch of hats, but this is just one take of something called kilamössa or trindmössa. This is where the real queerness of a tradition comes in. It's so much fun with this hat because in Toarp, Åshärad, outside Borås, or outside Gothenburg you could say, we have a fall costume for the female section of people, and they use this kind of hat on top of a hairnet, and it's just smaller and a bit over here. In the rest of Sweden, or a lot of Swedish male fall costumes, they have a similar hat that is for the male costume. So when I wear this hat transformed into either male or female, we don't know. But it's also a question of what is gender on clothing and why does clothes have gender? We are really discussing that with having this hat. That's my hopes also for the project, to discuss style and identity beyond the binary. It's a big discussion, and why do we need it? Why is it gender? Why is it so connected? We also have the jewelry. We have just taking also a compromise by all the jewelries and stuff that are on them. This is a typical thing we can have to connect the shirt. They're usually shaped as a heart. So we started with the heart, and we also combined the trans symbol in the heart. And that's what makes it so beautiful for me.